Welcome to the show. So glad to be with you again on today. Well, today I'm talking about a rule that exists but is in jeopardy of being eliminated that I believe many people need to know about it. As a matter of fact, at least 15 million people need to really understand this rule and as quickly as possible need to move on it because it's going to have an impact on medical debt. It's going to have an impact on charge-offs and collections, and you need to move on it right away. Well, before I get into it, I want you to do me a favor. Subscribe to this channel. Hit that notification bell and click that like button so that we will be notifying you each and every time we are going to be dropping this long form content, which will be happening at least on Mondays and Wednesdays and Fridays. And I want you to be a part of all the good stuff we've got going on. Well, today I want to talk to you about CFPB Regulation V that exists. This is a Biden administration rule that went into effect in January of 2025 that affects medical debt. But because of the way this rule has been written, there are some things that need to be considered. Now, I want you to know that I am going to be spending a little bit of time here making sure you are fully aware of what is going on with this rule and how this rule can benefit you. So let's just look for a hot moment at the things relative to the rule. So this is CFPB rule. This is Regulation 5, which brings Regulation 5 is how we get the Fair Credit Reporting Act and all that. But on January the 7th, 2025, it issued its final rule titled Prohibition on Creditors and Consumer Reporting Agencies Concerning Medical Debt Information, Regulation 5. Now, why is this so important? Because this rule introduces significant changes regarding how medical debt is handled in credit decisions. It eliminates a regulatory exception that previously allowed lenders to consider medical debt when determining a person's eligibility for credit. Under this new rule, lenders can no longer consider medical debt despite having previously been permitted to do so under an examination to the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Additionally, the CFP clarifies that credit reporting agencies cannot include medical debt on credit reports if the lender is not legally permitted to use that information. This is a significant advancement in protecting consumers with disabilities, and it goes on. So it prohibits credit reporting companies such as Equifax, TransUnion, Experian from including most medical debt on credit reports, prohibits lenders from using medical debt in making credit decisions, helps 15 million people with unjustly lowered credit scores, and raises credit scores about an average of 20 points for people across the board. But there are some problems. As you will see, it is under threat under the Trump administration. February the 6th, they said that they were going to just start eliminating people's jobs, and Trump didn't want any more actions being taken. February the 8th, the Trump administration directed the CFPB to cease ongoing investigations. February the 14th, a judge blocked that. But March the 6th, a U.S. representative from South Carolina proposed House Joint Resolution 74, which in essence would cancel Regulation 5 and force it to be something that only could happen if Congress would pass a new law. That didn't go through. March the 11th of 2025, a senator now proposed a very similar thing with the same decision to repeal the CFPB rule, stop the agency from regulating medical debt on credit reports in the future. It did not go through. On March the 26th, there was a hearing on that House subcommittee vote for financial institutions, but they didn't have a vote. And so what's happening is we are seeing an all-out attack to try and stop this. But I want to tell you why you need to move on this, not just for medical. When you look at what CFPB Regulation 5 really was all about and what the Biden administration put in place, it is literally saying that all debt connected to medical has no longer got a right to be permitted to be on a credit profile for a consumer. So that means that a person like myself, who has been helping people since this went into law in January, is starting to see some very positive things happening for people that I get to report on today. One of the things that is happening is people who have charge-offs for credit cards are finding that they can get their credit card charge-off and collections removed under this rule, because it is clear that many people use a credit card to pay co-payments and things of that nature for medical debt. Sometimes co-payments for dental and all types of things. And when that credit card is charged off, that part that the fact that you used this credit card to pay medical debt now brings it under the auspices of CFPB Regulation 5. So what you have to do, and what we've done very effectively, is you have to submit a letter to Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, letting them know that this debt has to be removed from your credit profile. And the reason that you're citing that this debt has to be removed is because it is medical debt. And you will cite CFPB Regulation 5. Now, you could get a pushback from your first letter. This is not medical debt. This is a credit card. I'm telling you this straight out. Most of the time, that's not what they're doing. But it could happen, and if it does, you simply write a letter standing on your ground and you push back that, listen, I don't have all the paperwork to show everything that was done. Because listen, I want you to understand this about the credit bureaus. They have to prove that the stuff on there belongs. You don't have to prove it. You simply say it's not accurate. This is inaccurate information. It's medical debt. According to CFPB Regulation 5, it cannot be reported on my credit report, and I want it removed. They need to then go to your credit card company, and within 35 days, they need to get back an answer that proves that nothing there had anything to do with medical debt. I am telling you, they're not going to do it. They're not interested in doing it. And this is something that you've got to do, because if the Trump administration goes through and gets this repealed and stops the CFPB from the enforcement of Regulation 5, you will no longer be able to do this. So you need to, if you've got credit card, remember now, credit card charge-offs or collections based off of a credit card, you are going to use this, or any type of medical debt whatsoever. Here's what you're not going to use it for. You're not going to use it for credit card late payments. You're not going to use it for credit card things that have gone to some dispute of some sort, but it's an open account. You're not using it for that. You're using it because I have seen this time and time again for charge-off credit cards collections, because you can use your credit card to pay medical debt. You can use your credit card to pay a copay on medical debt. Therefore, the credit card has been used for something that is no longer permitted to be reported on your credit reports. So you've got to move on this quickly. The law again is CFPB Regulation 5. You need to do that. Now, understand this. When you send your letter to the credit bureau about this, they're going to come back and respond. I want you to be willing to do this twice. Be willing to remind them a second time. And at the close of your second letter, if it becomes necessary, what you are then going to say to them is that if this is not removed this time, I will escalate this to the complaint level. At that level, you will then go to the CFPB and file a complaint on consumerfinance.gov. This is where you will go. This is how you will do it. And I can guarantee you, I have not had to advise one client this year to do that, because when these things are sent in, these things are simply being removed from the credit profile because they are inundated with a lot of stuff right now There is so much happening with what the Trump administration is doing. But the Biden administration put this law into effect. They felt and said clearly that they did not believe that medical debt should prevent people from jobs and housing and various other things. And so it was blocked as of January the 7th of this year. The Trump administration is trying hard to overturn it. And if they do, everything that I have taught you to do in this video will be null and void. So my recommendation to you is to move on it as quickly as possible. In the description for this video, I will state for you what the law is again, so that you will know what it is and what to do. If you have credit card charge-offs or collections or any medical debt, sit down today and write your letters out, send them out with either certified or to get verification of delivery to the 3 major credit bureaus, and then be willing to do letter number 2 stating that if it's not removed in the next 30 to 35 days, I will escalate to a complaint, which you will then go to consumerfinance.gov and do a complaint with the CFPB. Well, I trust that this information has helped you. We're using the law to do what it was intended to do. And in this case, this helps you if you've got any charge-offs and collections connected to a credit card, but still connected to medical debt. Well, I want you to be blessed. Have an absolutely awesome day. I will talk to you again real soon.